Hi, my name's Peter Swords King and I'm a hair and makeup designer. About 15, 16, I was always interested in makeup. I got involved in different theatre groups and that when I left home. And then I sort of waxed and waned. I wore a lot of makeup myself when I was very young. Then sort of got into, as I said, got into theatre. And I was learning to make wigs, and I was using wigs and hair, and that's where I started doing makeup, and that's when I really went, oh, I think this is for me. What couldn't I live without? I couldn't live without a Suku pen. I couldn't live without a tinted lip balm. I think tinted lip balms, I quite like Kiehl's. Kiehl's used to make really nice ones. I use another one now, I can't remember who makes it. But it's tinted lip balm. You can do it. You can do cheeks with it. You can do anything. You know, actual sort of blush is really good. A good natural blush, because if you haven't got any lipstick, you can use that as lipstick. So that's why you can even use it as eyeshadow. I mean, you know, you can use it for a lot of things. A really nice mascara, and my favourite for a natural eyelash is DHC. Oh, actually, another thing I do like, I really like, is the MAC lip. Excuse me, lip. Well, what's it called? It's for taking colour out of lips, because when you're working on film, a lot of people, even if you don't put anything on their lips, it comes up looking like they're wearing lipstick. Well, it goes right back to when I was a kid, and I remember first seeing Little Big Man when Dustin Hoffman was turned into the very old man, and that was at a young age very inspiring. I could not believe that they could do that to someone, and that was fantastic. And that was greatly inspiring to me. And when I was a very young kid, I mean, I'm too old to remember him, but Lon Chaney Jr. and all the stuff people were doing back in the 30s and the 20s, I found very inspirational, because they didn't have what we have now. It was all done with metal clasps to pull their cheeks back and what have you. And I like the fact that it was almost homemade, and people were all inventing things to do. I mean, he played one character, and he actually got the membrane of a boiled egg, the white membrane, and put it in his eyes to make him go blind, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And I know we all do it with sclerics and everything now. But I found very early stuff very inspiring and inspired me in my career. But then you look at what people do now, and it's just phenomenal what people do. Go to a good school that actually want to teach you how to do makeup. I have to be careful here, but there are some schools that are a little bit more keen on doing that than others. That's what I'm going to say. Get to a good school, do your research, find out how their students feel afterwards, how they actually get on. So those sort of things are really important, not just sort of the glamour of the job, but what are they teaching you? How much do they teach you? Do they give you all the basics for actually going on and then understanding what someone says when you go onto a film set? It's no good teaching you how to put eyeshadow and lipstick on. You've got to know everything and be really forearmed, and that's what gets you doing well, and people, because it is about people liking you and thinking your talents are good, or you have a good chance of moving on in the career, and you have to impress people with that. And then when you do, it's when you get asked back. And if you keep getting asked back, you meet more people, and then you stop being a trainee and you move on to a junior. You give more responsibility, you prove it. That's how you do it. So it's, yeah, and it's you know, it's writing, as I said up on the interview, it's writing to not the designer, because you might not get anywhere with that, but writing to the second in command who's keying it, or the crowd supervisor who's organising all the crowd. That's two ways of getting in. So find out who's doing it, approach them in a really nice, pleasant way, and you'll probably ask to come along for a day, and if it works out, can you come back tomorrow? I mean, it's like that. It's down to you. You can do all your training and everything else, but it's down to your personality, how you are with people, and how willing you are to work. Yeah, I mean, that's it really. Get in. Just don't get complacent. You know, I know there's 100 makeup artists who want to jump into my job, and they will soon, because I'm not going to be doing it forever. But you know, you can't become complacent. The day that you are not worried about what you're doing is the day you should retire. because then you've become complacent. So it is that thing about always striving for more, and just you can't rest on your laurels. You can't. And if you are, you're getting a bit tired and stale. I feel every film is an achievement. You know, people say, oh, what about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and, you know, and I go to King Kong, but then I feel it's an achievement when I do stuff set in the 1930s, and, you know, the Star Wars is coming up, and everything's an achievement, no matter how big or small. You know, one of my favourite things I ever did in my life was a ballet for BBC Two, which is based on the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and I had a budget of £50. And the work I did for that was astonishing. So every job you do has its merits, and every job you do, you learn not to do something like that again, or because early on in your career, I think it's really important to make mistakes. My favourite film? I have two favourite films. One is called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, made in 1920, German. And the other one is called Les Enfants du Paradis, which is a silent movie. And they were the two movies, I saw them as a double bill, and they're the two movies that got me where I am now. Because they completely changed my outlook on everything. Acting, films, makeup, everything. I came out of there and it was like this moment where I went, oh my God. And they're both silent. They're both very early movies. But I don't know what happened. I came out and I said, well, that's it. I know where I want to go. So they were my two most influential films. Of course, there's been thousands of others because I always watch movies, but ever since I was very small, I've watched movies. I can remember as a kid, I was very well behaved unless I was halfway through a film. And my mother said, go to bed. Only time I'd kick up a fuss because I wanted to see the end of the movie. If I could go back in time, I would definitely go back to the 1940s. I love the 1940s, and I really have never done a big 1940s film. And I would love it. I love the way the women looked. It was all quite scary with the big shoulders and everything, but I loved it. It was a bit larger than life. And people always do a lot of 30s. I've done lots of 30s now, but I've never done 1940s. And I'd love to, because everything's very structural. The hair, the costumes, very glamorous. I love it when people overpaint their lips and all that kind of crazy stuff. So that's what I'd like to go back. I'd like to see it for real. Actually, I'd like to go from the 20s to the 40s, really. Go right through. I'd love to see it all for real, because we all try and create it, and I don't think we do. And I think one day I'm going to get to a film where I really get to create it, but people are going to say, oh, it looks awful, because I don't think it's half as glamorous as we make it. At this time yesterday, I was taking off Julie Walters' wig for the last time as she'd been picture wrapped, and we were drinking champagne.